This is the Dell XPS 13 2-in-1. It looks a lot like the XPS 13 that's been out since 2015, except for one pretty big difference. So yeah, this is an XPS 13 that you can flip around into a tablet. That's not really a bad thing. The XPS 13 has been one of our favorite Windows laptops because it's got great design, great keyboard, a beautiful display, and great performance. Now the 2-in-1 carries over most of those same qualities, except it has a few other key differences. Now for starters, you gotta deal with a few fewer ports. The XPS 13 2-in-1 is a little bit thinner, it's about the same weight as the normal model, but it only has USB-C ports. There's one here, and there's one here. There's also a micro SD card slot instead of a full-size SD card slot, but fortunately you've got a 3.5mm headphone jack. And Dell also includes a USB-C to A adapter to get you started on your dongle life. The power button's been moved to the side, and frankly, it kind of sucks. It's too small, it's too mushy, it's too hard to tell when you've actually pressed it. I really dislike it. On the upside, I really like the little battery meter that's on the other side, and I wish every single laptop had it. Now the keyboard and trackpad are pretty much the same as the standard XPS 13, which means there's great key travel, a backlight, and a smooth and responsive keypad. The arrow keys are a little bit small for my preference, but everything else about the keyboard is pretty great. What's new is this new fingerprint scanner, which works with Windows Hello, lets you log in super quickly and easily, and it's really convenient to use. The 2-in-1 has the same size 13.3-inch screen as a standard model. It's Dell's Infinity Edge design. It puts the panel all the way to the edges of the screen, which is really cool. Now on this $1,299 model I'm testing, it's got a 1080p display resolution, which is bright and sharp and really nice. You can opt for a Quad HD panel if you want, but I don't think you really need to. Now the other exterior design difference is the placement of the webcam. On the standard XPS 13, it's in this really bad lower left corner spot. On the 2-in-1, it's in a really bad low center spot. Now it's gonna work for Windows Hello at some point in a few months, but I wasn't able to test that. I did test it with conference calls though, and I really kinda hate it. It's maybe slightly better than the standard model, but not much at all. If you're on a conference call, the view that everyone gets is up your nose, and if you start typing, all of your fingers start blocking the camera, which is just dumb. Now you can get around it by flipping around the display into the tent mode, which puts the camera above the screen, but that means that you give up access to the keyboard and trackpad. Dell really just needs to figure out how to put the camera above the display like every other laptop ever. On the inside, the 2-in-1 has a few key changes as well. The unit I've been testing has Intel's 7th generation Core i7 processor, but it's a fanless design, so it's not as powerful as the one in the standard model. Fanless is great. It's super quiet when I'm working, and it doesn't get too hot when it's on my lap either. I really didn't have any problems there. I've also been really impressed with the performance. I'm able to multitask, jump between a bunch of different browser tabs and different Windows 10 apps without any hangups. And you're not gonna wanna game on this, and you're not gonna wanna do heavy photo or video editing, but for everyday work, it's actually pretty great. The 2-in-1's battery is also good. It's able to go about 7 or 8 hours between charges for me, and since it's got a USB-C plug, if I need to charge up, I can plug in an external battery. Now you may be wondering if this 2-in-1 is any good at being more than a laptop, since it does do this whole flipping thing. I'm gonna be frank here, it is 90% a laptop and maybe 10% a tablet. Vast majority of the time you're gonna be using it as a laptop, and maybe once in a while you'll put it in tent mode to watch a video on a plane or something like that. But if you're using it as a tablet, it's just too big, too thick, and too heavy to really be practical or not cumbersome, which is exactly the story with every single convertible laptop I've ever used. Now I'm left wondering why you would buy this particular XPS 13 at all. If you want a good laptop, the regular XPS 13 doesn't make you give up on ports or power and is a really good laptop in its own right. The XPS 13 2-in-1 is a really great laptop with few faults, but honestly, I think your money would be best spent somewhere else. A lot of crunchies, a lot of, what do you call that when people like to listen to bubbles popping? The,
ASMR.
Yeah, a little bit of ASMR action?
We should do that, it's just like...
Do you want to hear the...